but walk with shackles tied around our ankles, calling them Pandora's bracelet because they hold the history of our ancestors in every chain link, screaming, freedom, freedom, as though we were actually on its brink. So think. We live in a country where they've built a capital code of society. If you're not buying, you're dying. Taught to value the price of a penny, although it's the one piece of currency they wish they could annihilate from our existence. Showing Lincoln that our true freedom never really existed. But could someone please repeat that? Because I think I missed it and they must have misread the fine print on the label. Because somehow they wrote, in God we trust, but have yet to grasp the concept of why we trust in God. They want to make us think that we're waiting in vain. They say waiting is insane. Everybody wants it. No, everybody needs it now. It's my money and I need it now, right? But I'm waiting on a promise. Let's call it an advent, the arrival of what waiting really meant, heaven sent. So if you're not in the game, then please sit down on the bench, because when you're all in, it's as if you're at war. And no one will care if you're rich or poor, because there's a fire burning deep down in your core. And when it starts to simmer, you'll feed it for more. In the midst of the fight and surrounded by gore, but determined not to be the one lying dead on the floor. Instead, you'll join our army. The revolution is what we are. We don't support guns, but we're not afraid to use them by far. We've tagged them as freedom and steel. The funny thing about death is that it allows others to feel our pain. A young black man always takes the blame when society can't force him to tame his mane. And what's the use of fame when my brother's brains are still left splattered dead on the street? My people cry for help but continue to accept defeat, and it sounds kind of weak. We speak of freedom, but we don't move towards change, afraid the master will tighten our change. And this picture to you may seem a little deranged. Like, why does she have to bring up our past? And if she's black too, then why does she got to put us on blast? But past has somehow become our present, a precedent for the future. Widow fathers telling daughters how if only you had knew her, while mothers cradle their sons, wishing they could explain to them just what daddy did to get caught up in this game. They've taught you to play with your freedom, handed you death on a platter, and watch as you feed them lies of a nation built on European descent. Lies that speak of selling drugs because it's the only way to pay our rent. Lie. The revolution will never come. Lie. Don't try to fight because they've already won. Lie. And everything from the Jesus they see to the person they'll grow up to be. So tell me, how far will you go to save your race? Are you willing to fight even when it means losing face, when they beat you and label you as the world's biggest disgrace? Will you stay in one place and stand your ground, show them your crown? Because they found a nation of kings and queens, tore us down by any means, created fiends, and then split us up into teams titled as light and dark, worked to break us from the very start. They were some kind of smart, but didn't know that our bright skin would beam light for our dark brothers. Split a race so that we would perceive ourselves as other, teach us that it's all about color. But our freedom was never determined on how much strife we could endure. So if you're ready to fight, then please be sure, because there's an army rising up, and it's time to take your place. No more need to plead your case. This part here is dependent solely on faith. Can your soul rely only on faith? Voices!
All right.